in this process. And lastly, the example is between CAIDEC. CAIDEC is a scientific association. We have authority, have independence, and university. We are university, SDG Center University. So this can work as a partnership and engage, as the title of the symposium, to be more, like to pursue the development goals now that getting more intentions, like SDGs in 2030, for example. So that's close my remark, and I would like to invite Professor Henjin to give detail wrap up.
Thank you very much, Arif, and thank you thank you all of you for coming to this event, despite your very busy schedule. And actually, this session is named Wrap Up, but I'm not going to talk about the last 2 days. I'm going to talk about the path ahead. So I'd like to have some discussion for future and brainstorming. I don't think it can be finished today, but it can continue online. And any input today or in the future will be appreciated. So I have a couple of the presentation, some pages just as a facilitating the talk, the discussion. Before the brainstorming, I have one announcement which is closely related to the brainstorming subject. That is some of you know we are preparing for an edited book from last year's the symposium and this year's symposium. So this is the working title, Development Approaches in Asia, Initiatives and Challenges. We have some chapters. So the yellow, the blue means I have already drafted. The yellow, they promised. Those who present today or yesterday, they promised it will be submitted by then. So you are going to be chased off from now on. So please, Dr. Yanagihara, you promised yesterday, but Japan time is just 2 hours ahead. You are already submitted yesterday, last night. Anyhow, you are being late. So those who promised the date, please keep the date. Some of you may want to participate, but you haven't heard about that. So you can send me some your draft, the outline. Then we will see how to fit it into the whole picture. And one thing I'd like to make sure it is subject to review outcomes. So we are going to contact some the publishers. So it is at this moment, it is likely they will appear on the book. However, we are going to subject to some reviews. And the next one I prepared is the theme. The word I finished the opening remarks yesterday. For the sustainability of this symposium and our community. I'd like to call us a community. We have been gathering for 3 years in a row, and some of us already know each other, meeting a couple of times. So I think we can call a community. I'd like to, and CAIDEC, on behalf of CAIDEC, we're really keen to maintain that kind of mentality or community spirit, but there is always the issue. So let me briefly what has happened. First, it was initiated my predecessor, Professor Son, and the first conference was held in Seoul in 2015, and last year in Kuala Lumpur, and now here. And we already have some plans. Fourth in Philippine Institute for Development Studies, and the Kathmandu the year after. But they are at this stage just a plan. And contributions, I believe, and our Korean colleagues believe, we have built a partnership because as a community, among Asian development studies communities, then engagement increased. So the contribution is increasing from the hosting institutions. So now we are achieving some level of partnership and engagement. The theme of this year event and knowledge shared. An edited book in preparation. This is an example of some knowledge sharing, I believe. However, we have many challenges we have to address. We are heavily dependent on Korea Foundation funding. And so that's why even though I listed the fourth, fifth, they are subject to the success of the funding. And there are very high level of uncertainty. So that is the challenge we have to address altogether. So outcomes, by now there's no visible outcomes. Yes, we have built trust, we have a community mentality. However, it is not visible. We believe there is. So we need some visible outcomes for the funding body, first of all, and for us. So we need, and that is an example. That's the reason we pursue that kind of the deliverable and as a book. And another challenging issue is how outreach. So we are sort of a community with a, I may say, strong tie built through 3 years. However, we needed to decide, not a matter of decide, but we needed to expand, but how? And publicity, we needed to, for all these things, we needed to increase the publicity. I really thank you for the SDG Center this year. They have opened a wonderful website. I don't think is it included. Anyhow, so this event has a website, and in Korea we already have the Korean article. The article in Korean language is already reported today. So to announce actually we are targeting we are emphasizing Korea Foundation for their attention, and then, with those the contributions and challenges, now it's time for us to think what to do in the future. So I call it paths ahead. This is the topic we for our brainstorming, but as just initiate the facilitating, I have listed some of the things from my mind. So some of you may think some of them are very ambitious, but I just I try to be ambitious for discussion. So first, do as we have done. With the hope the funding will continue, but it is unlikely, realistically speaking. And another option I discussed with Stephen or other colleagues, we may self-sustain with some minimum funding with and participating with some participant-owned funding. But the scale may be the downgraded, but still it can maintained, I guess. And this is the very ambitious one, which is closely related to funding as well. But we may organize Asian Association of Development Studies, like European equivalent, or we may found a journal possibly, and some small the outcomes like books or special issue or joint application for collaborative research as as suggested by Kato yesterday. For example, Korea, Japan has international, the Korean research funding body has a bilateral program with Japan, and it is a possibility. So that's what I have prepared. So I invite any comment or any suggestion. And particularly this year, we have actually we have already some big, global presence. We have a U.S. the U.S. Officer, you are already part of us. So from your experiences of that kind, the East Asian, the research community in North America, so how could we sustain or how could we develop further? So as I said, we have only 5 minutes, but so if you have any comment or suggestion now or online to our the development chair officer. Yeah. Yeah, first, please.
Thank you very much. So I really appreciate your initiative, and I really want to join further. And about the journal, I think that it's not a good idea to make our own journal, but we may make use of the existing journal, a kind of the special issue, hijacking one issue from one journal, and next time some other. Like this way, we can make our presence known among the people. Well, for example, we have, as an IDE, we have a journal, the Development Economies, and we may have a chance to make some special issue for Asian development studies like that. Then we can organize and we host that one special issue in our journal. And next time maybe you have some other countries, they have a lot of journals. So that could be the way to start, I think. And secondly, that the joint research, which I yesterday raised, but we need some money. But before using money, a kind of the survey among us, kind of the ankate or whatever, what is the meaning of CBE or civil society organization in your country? Then that kind of the mini survey can be combined and they make it the presentation next session. Then we can expand and progress this kind of the study step by step. So we don't need such money, but just we need some collaboration among us. That could be the feasible step, I think.
And Stephen, before you leave.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, I just wanted to thank you, Hee-Jin and Kaidek, for your initiative. I think it is a very interesting conference and with different people, different disciplines, different countries, micro, macro, country, cross-country, so it's very promising. And I agree with all your suggestions. And I just think, if there is a possibility of getting funds from the Korea-ASEAN partnership and the multi-year funding, that's also a very promising avenue. Thank you.
These materials and their interaction, because if we're looking at continuing conferences in the future, our own website, because this one is just for the Unpad for this event basically. So, but who will manage that is also an issue.
Yep, that is my question. Actually, that website is only for this event. But it may be used for our group, if possible. So because it's just a start, it is just a starting point.
We could contain this for the succeeding events.
Yeah. So anyhow, now it's 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Okay, last. Very shortly, please.
Yes. This is particular for next event. I hope PIDS and the KAIDEC would co-host the 4th symposium in Manila. I hope. If so, you can invite or we can work with Asian Development Bank. Okay? And it so happens that one of our colleagues at JASI, Japan Association for International Development, happens to be the chief economist at ADB Research. Okay? So it can be the just collaboration as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, the reason I show this session like this is to share the challenges we have. So we are very keen to continuing with this kind of event with our colleagues here. However, we have challenges, and I'd like to share that the challenge, and let's find a way how to overcome those things. So thank you very much, and let's keep discussing through whatever media.
Thank you, Professor Lee. How about the event? The SDG Center prepared some kinds of souvenirs for the KIDEC. So please, the President Lee, please come forward, and Professor Arif.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And then, now this is
For you.
this is all of the symposium. Now I'm gonna show some logistical information. Now we're gonna move to the restaurant for lunch, the same restaurant yesterday. And right after you are free to go, right after the lunch, you are free to go. So we arranged, as you know, we arranged the kinds of minivans from hotel to Bandung station, or from hotel to the Jakarta airport, or if you have an accommodation in Jakarta, yeah, we arrange all those detailed things. You know that, right? So we have a very wonderful two coordinators from the Miss Ong Kang-sim. Please stand up, please. Ong Kang-sim, please, and also Mr. Wandira from the SDG Center. Yes. And for detailed things, you please contact those two ladies for your logistics. And for the reimbursements of the local transportations in your country from your home airport to your house or to your office, and also for the receipt for the meals during the return flight. So you can copy it. You can have it. You can have a meal and transportations. You need the receipt and scan it, send the email to Kang-sim. Right? Then we're gonna reimburse it, because the KF audit is very restrictive nowadays. So that's the only way we can reimburse your local transportation in your country and your meal during the travel. That's it. Thank you for everything. Bye.
Sorry, I almost forget something. I would like to thanks several people.